Hello, and welcome to Exploring Axon, a podcast where we discuss Axon Framework, Axon Server, and their ecosystem. I am your host and a software developer at AxonIQ, Sarah Torrey. Welcome to part 2 of my conversation with my colleague Milen Dyankov on Axon Academy. I hope you enjoy it, and let's have a listen. So now let's talk about something that is out there and also is in the making as well, because you're adding to it as we go, which is the Academy. And that's one of the big things, or the big thing you've been working on, I'd say, for the past year. So
Yep.
tell everybody about it.
Wow. So yeah, it is the biggest piece of all that I'm working on, and then actually the one that I spent quite a lot of time, probably most of my time for the past year. But not only me, of course, there is a whole team behind it. So it would
Sure.
be it would be unfair to put it on my account, right? There's
Oh, yeah, it's a
quite a
big
lot of
project.
yeah, quite
Yeah.
a lot of people involved with that. So one thing that I liked a lot about Exonic when I joined is this approach towards education. That's,
Yeah.
trust me, that's uh, not something a lot of companies pay attention to. A lot of companies
Mhm.
takes education for granted. Like, we send the people to the documentation, they learn how to use the product, and they use it, right? And it's,
Right.
you see a lot of that mindset a lot in different companies, right? At Exonic, there was always trainings. Like, well, I joined during the pandemic, 2020, so there was already everything online, right? But I
Yeah.
know Axonic was doing in-person trainings before that,
Mhm.
and I think that is very important. That is like, at my previous company, we had a very strong training approach as well, and I love that. And I've been a trainer myself there for several years. I've done tons of trainings, and I always loved that interaction with the trainees. Like, and I always joked around that the busiest time for the trainer is between the lessons, right? Because during the lesson, you just stand up and you speak your part and you give your example, and then it's the break, and then you have 20 people over your head. It's like, I had this
Asking
problem with my
questions. Yeah.
product. To me, it's always been like this, right? It's always been the busiest time for me as a trainer, always been the
When you're
breaks.
taking a break. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. um, but on the other hand, I love that, because this is where you actually get the this feeling that you are helping people. All right, you're not
Yeah.
just the machine that reads the slides for them, right? But you are actually helping people. So uh, I love that Exonic has this, and it was, and it still is delivered by the people who actually build the product, or the solution engineers who are actually working with customers on the field, and they know what's going on. They have practical experience with those things. the there are two issues with that when we're talking about the online trainings in particular. uh, First is that you are actually using a highly skillful people, like your software engineers,
Yeah.
to read slides, right?
Right.
And if you think about it, from a business perspective, and let's be honest, we look at this from both our perspective as a company, and also the perspective from the trainees. But from the
Right.
company perspective, like, having a highly qualified software engineers reading slides to other people, it's probably not something what you want to do.
Not the best use of their
Uh,
time. Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. It is valuable to have them there for for the breaks, right? That is where they
Exactly.
may
To answer questions and help. Yeah.
yeah, that is where you really want to have them.
Yeah.
But for just showing slides to people, you probably don't want to have them. But on the other hand, from consumer perspective or in the learner's perspective, it is still fixed time. Like we do the training this day at this time, you have to sign up and join, right?
Yeah.
And okay, that may or may not work for you. Also, you need to take into account time zones. Like you have to do one in Europe and one in US, probably another for Asia. Poor Australians, they always need to figure out which other
Which
time
time
zone
zone to go with?
to
Yes.
go to, right? It's a bunch of inconveniences. Also, it's like, what if at the last moment you can't join, but because for some reason, right? Then you have to go like, yeah, we don't want to be like, well, I mean, we take the money and it's up to you. You don't join, it's your problem, right? But then
Yeah.
you go into all this like rescheduling and refund policies and stuff like that. So there is like the fact that we have this training is great, and I love it, and people like them a lot from the feedback that
Yeah.
we received, but it causes some implications on the logistics side, if you will.
Right.
And so the idea was, what if we can automate, and that's kind of the way software engineering is going on these days, automate the parts that we can automate, and just keep the humans for the parts that we can't automate. Meaning,
Right.
get the learning experience on a learning platform, so people can consume it whenever they want, as they want. They can take breaks whenever they want, or whatever they have to because of things, right? um, and at the same time, we don't consume time from engineering team, which is now spent on building and making the product better,
Yeah.
right? So, but also we don't want to lose the interaction part, right? And there's two cases where the software engineers are crucial. One is making the materials, make building the trainings, the learning
The content.
exercises,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
content. That we still want to have the most knowledgeable people do that, right? And also the part where in the interaction part, where people can actually ask questions, discuss, and things like that. So we were looking at a bunch of ways to solve that problem. We picked a platform that pretty much has the features that we want to have, um and that's how the academy was born. Essentially, we
Yeah.
started building, like, one thing that we liked about the platform is that it also has a social features. It's not like a social network, it's not Facebook, but it has a like basic social features, if you will. So you can
Yeah.
comment on a lesson, you can ask someone for help, or that was like one of the main criterias. So we want people to not just go there and watch a video and read a text, but also to send feedback or to request something more. It
Yeah.
has the ability to do exams, so when I can give
Mhm.
you what is it called, a certificate of course
Mhm.
completion and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it has a bunch of interesting features, and we started working on this. Well, as it turns out, everything is super easy when you just look at it. Right? When you start doing it,
Of course. It's a
it,
whole other
it,
thing.
it's a whole other thing, right?
Right.
Um, so we were it was relatively easy to build the first two free courses, but then we got into you know the same issues that we had before, like time is something that we need to take into account. Variety of lockdowns, we had situations like we need, like, for this we want to actually make it professional, so record in a professional studio with professional equipment, with people who actually know how to do video processing and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But then you have the lockdown, like you plan, you we're going to record and we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and then certain governments decides that you can't, or
Yeah. And then
certain
everything's on
airline.
hold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or certain, because we're a distributed team, so we
Yeah.
have to travel. So it's been like, I think I had 5 attempts to go to Netherlands this year, past year.
And I don't
right? And
think any of
every
that has happened.
and I haven't been there not even once, right? Because every time it's either my government or their government or airline or
Right.
uh,
Welcome to my life. Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
And then you make like there is a saying, I don't know in which language it works, but in one of the languages I speak there is a saying, you make plans and God laughs at you.
Exactly.
So that's essentially what happened to us. We made plans
Right.
and God laughed at us. Like, yeah, sure.
Right. Yeah, go ahead, make your plans.
Yeah,
Right.
like um so yeah, that's essentially what happened to Academy. We also, one thing that I personally learned from that whole experience is that education is a serious field that requires people with serious knowledge about.
Oh,
In a it,
absolutely.
in a you- I've never been a professional teacher. I don't have an education. Like I haven't graduated anything that teaches education. Right? I learned how to code. I got good at it at some point. Some people said I'm good at it. Some people asked me to tell other people how to do it. I started doing it, and some people were happy about it. So here you go, you're a trainer, right? But that actually does not make you a teacher, and that's a hard lesson to learn,
You have
right?
so much appreciation for your kids' teachers now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For anyone in education. Exactly.
Just because you know something, it doesn't mean you can teach other people.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
even if you think you're good at teaching, that the whole think about like how do people acquire knowledge, what sticks, what do they remember, why they do remember this and don't remember that, right? There's a lot of things that when you start thinking about it, there's a lot of things that you don't know, and I had to face the truth that I always prize myself as a good speaker, appreciated conferences, blah blah blah, but no, I'm not a good teacher. um, well, especially when it comes to designing a learning experience. Like put me in
Yeah.
front of a camera and I'll do a talk, right? But
Yeah.
structuring how a course should look like. Where do we start?
Hmm.
What do we go through? Should we do
Hmm.
quizzes or exams? Should we have interactions? And then this process of how do you put the material in a way that is easily consumable by the learners, that is something that I literally had zero knowledge about.
Right.
And So we struggled a lot with things like that. You want to make it, it's I don't know how much time we have, but there's an anecdote.
Yeah.
So when we were kids, we got a camera from somewhere, and at the time the ninja movies were very popular. My friend was training some martial arts. I had the ninja stuff, so we got a camera and we decided we're gonna shoot a ninja movie, right?
Okay.
And we were shooting a ninja movie all day long, right?
Right.
He was jumping from trees and doing whatnot. And at the end, we went to watch the movie, and then it's like, hey, we did all the scenes from the movies that we
Right.
loved, and that looks like a crap. Like we watched the real movie, and it's awesome. And
Right.
we watch our movie, it's like crap. Like what the hell happened, right? And so the reason I'm saying this is that's what we try to avoid with the academy, right?
Yeah.
There's so many greatly taught and designed learning experiences out there that we didn't want it to make it like a bunch of software coders are pretending to be the experts in teaching kind of thing, and
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever you get, it's something that people laugh at. So we wanted to
Hmm.
make it really like professional learning experience. So that took time.
Right. Of course.
Uh, and so where we are with Academy now is we have 2 free courses
Hmm.
and 9 paid courses, which I think are very reasonable priced.
Hmm.
Uh, one of the so the one of the 9 courses is already available as of a couple of weeks now, I believe,
Okay.
and
Hmm.
we're looking to release the other what 8
Yeah.
in the next few months. So the
Okay.
plan minimum is 1 course per month, and I think we explained that in an email or so
Hmm.
on the website, I believe it is.
Hmm.
Um, and we get that, like basically if you look at everything I said in the last 5 minutes, it's you can take it as a one big excuse, right? I
No,
was just,
no.
I'm just telling you how it was, but for some people, I'm aware it does not build trust in us, right? So what we were thinking about, like, how can we ask people to pay us money, right, for something that's not there, right? I mean,
Hmm.
we know we want it there. We know
Yeah.
we would have it there tomorrow if we could,
Hmm.
right? But that's us. Like, the people out there don't know that. So how can we ask people to put their trust in something that is yet to come?
Yeah.
Right. So right now, if you go on the academy, there is a huge discount. So we sell
Hmm.
courses individually, but you can
Right.
also buy a bundle of a course.
Bundle. Okay.
Yeah, and there is a bundle of 5 courses, I believe, that is primarily focusing on Axon framework. There is a bundle of 5 courses that's primarily focused on Axon Server, and there's one
Okay.
bundle with all the courses, right? So whichever bundle you choose, you can buy individual courses if you only interested in one topic. But if you want to go with the bundles, we give you 50% discount right now, and that discount is going to be up there until we release all the courses. So that is
Okay. Nice.
basically kind of the motivation also for us to kind of get them out of the door as soon as possible.
Exactly.
Um,
Right.
and at the same time, one thing that I probably should have mentioned, that we hired a learning experience designer, right? So a person
Yeah.
that actually knows learning processes, to help us with not only academy but also the whole learning experience, to build better learning experiences for people. So we have a process in place, and he's right evaluating how we've done things with the previous courses, and he's bringing also improvements to how like teaching also ask how things should be done to get the best possible learning experience for the learners that we have on the academy,
Yeah.
which is, at the time I was just checking yesterday, I think it's around 1,300 people sign up at the moment, and learners on the
Nice.
academy.
That's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. And I think it's worth mentioning. I should have mentioned this or asked you earlier, but the way that you and the team have designed the academy is really nice because there are of course videos and they're fairly short videos, so it's just within I think 5 to 10 minutes each video, and you can kind of get the gist of the material. And also alongside the videos, the course has a written portion as well, so that you can go read the material as well, and then take these. You talked about tests, but they're not like big tests or anything. I think they're just like 5 or 6 questions each course, and you just um, answer, I guess, based on whichever level you're on. You answer these questions. I think they're like less than 10 questions each, right? They're not that many
No,
per
no,
video,
not
I
really.
think.
Uh,
No, not really.
uh, no.
I remember not having to
So
answer too
you
many
we talk.
questions when I was doing it.
No, I what you refer to is actually quizzes, and
Okay,
I'm not
yes, the
sure if
quizzes.
we are misusing the English words here, because unlike you, I'm not a native English speaker. But essentially, the idea is you have the video, and we want to highlight things in the video. The problem with video,
Right.
and people like watching videos. Most of the people appreciate that learning style. The problem with videos is you can't copy paste stuff, right?
Right.
And software engineers, software developers, like, you don't give them the copy paste thing, you lose them, right? So
Right.
I mean, like, why do you think Stack Overflow is so popular? Let's be honest about it.
Hey, I do it all the
So
time. I'm guilty as charged. Exactly.
yeah, I mean, like, imagine, like, take a step back. Imagine Stack Overflow allowing you only to post video content. Right? You record a video of yourself asking a question, and someone records a video of themselves answering the question. Like, Stack Overflow has zero chance to succeed with that formula, right? Um, so yeah, there's some problems with videos.
Mhm.
Also, the editing part, like editing mistakes, it's much easier when you have texts. Like, and
Exactly.
I'm like
Right.
being fully transparent about that.
Hmm.
We are not perfect. We make mistakes. If we make mistake in the video, we have to go do re-editing, probably rehire the studio and whatnot. With a text, is just so much easier. Even things like keeping up to speed as minor
Yeah.
versions of a product changes something. So there is the video that explains you the concept. It shows you applicability, but then all the examples and stuff is in the text, so you can
Yeah.
actually copy it, use it, and do whatever you want with it. And then,
Hmm.
like, so the whole a course is actually divided into lessons, and at the end of each lesson is the quiz that we call it a quiz. This is the thing that you refer to. It's
Yeah.
literally 3, 4, 5 questions, but those are not questions that are meant to assess knowledge. They are
Right.
rather questions to help the learner check whether they understood the material that was presented to them.
Yeah. Of
And
course. Of course.
as you mark the answer, it will immediately tell you whether or not that's correct answer. Right. So we don't check your knowledge at this point. We
Yeah.
rather want it to serve as a should I go through that material one more time?
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
if I can't answer these questions, then probably I should. Right.
Yeah.
But at the end of the course, you have the actual exam. And the exam
Right.
is, I think it's 20 questions, 20 minutes. And you have to score 80% to pass.
Yes.
Right.
Of
And
course. Yeah. Yeah.
and that is the criteria upon which we give you the
The
certificate.
certificate.
And if you
Yeah.
pass
Makes sense.
the exam, then you get the certificate.
Hmm.
So
And
yeah,
it's
that's what we call the exam, and the small
gotcha.
parts are like quizzes.
It's the quizzes. Very good. And it's funny you mentioned the copy pasting uh, ability basically with text, which is funny. I actually hadn't quite thought about that, but for me, it was basically it came down to whether or not it's quiet enough for me to watch a video because I have two little ones, and when I watch something, it's like chaos around me, so it's easier for me to just skim through the written material. So that was another benefit. Hey, so
Yeah,
yes, copy paste, and if you
yeah,
can't watch the video, read the material, which is really great. Awesome.
yeah. That's
So
another
lots
lesson
of
we
great
learned.
things.
Is sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt you, but that's
No,
another
you're fine.
lesson we learned why we built the academy is that different people have different preferences. Like a vast majority of the younger people like at university or shortly after university, they would prefer to watch videos, right? And
Oh
we've
yeah.
had a lot
Yeah.
of requests about give me the
Nice.
video before even the academy, like
Hmm.
can you convert this text to a video, right? There's
Right.
a
Yeah.
like a lot of those, but folks at
Yeah. Now you're
uh,
aging me. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, now I just realized that I'm making a
Too late, Milan. Too late. The damage is done. No, I'm perfectly fine. I like to read things. So,
yeah, but people my age to get out of this
our age. Yes.
tend to prefer to read, right? So I'm not sure it's only about age thing. I think it's more about habits thing than age things.
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
didn't grow up with tablets in our hands,
Hmm.
right? And we read books, so it's more of
Yeah.
a habit than
I mean, I think there are definitely benefits to both of them. And I personally love watching videos, and it helps me a lot of times, and especially now that most conferences have been online for the past couple of years and things like that. I love watching them. But there are times that I find myself, for instance, if I'm sitting at like the kids swim class or something like that, and I can't have earplugs in there because somebody might need me or what have you, and I can't have this thing blasting off in the middle of public. It's easier to read, of course, so that's another benefit. But it's really important to have, and I do appreciate this about the platform, is that it gives people different options to learn, however they're comfortable learning. So that's a really good point about the platform itself. And I know you've spent your heart and soul basically making this happen and improving it as we go. So I'm really excited to see what's going to come next in the courses. And I know it's covering a lot, not just the products that we have at Axon, but also teaching folks about the architectural concepts, some of these concepts that we talked about earlier on in our talk, like CQRS, DDD. So we do cover these things as well. It's not just particular for Axon framework or Axon service. So those are really nice things to have. So I really appreciate you and the whole team spending time and making this possible for people who are new to this field and want to learn more about it, to have a place to go, which is really nice. But yeah, anyways, thank you so much for spending the time with me today and telling me all about everything that you've been busy working on, even the things that are not public yet, and may not be for a while. I hate putting times on anything. So, but yeah, I really appreciate all your efforts with coming up with these materials. And I know you've
Oh, thank you.
put a lot
It's
of time
actually
into it. Yeah,
it's been a pleasure for me to work on it. It's been a challenge as well, like
of
a
course.
huge
Yeah,
challenge, right? But as like a lot of effort also was put by the software engineers. Like Steven did a great job. Now Bert is preparing the server
excellent
courses.
server. Yeah,
Yeah, so a lot of the effort is on their side too. Um,
right.
my team, like David and Noemi, and now Mohammed, are super helpful with moving things forward. So
Right.
as I said, it's a challenge to so many different levels, like from content to organization wise and logistics to quality control
Hmm.
and all those things. But at the same time, you go there, like I'm there every day monitoring what's going on, and almost like every day or every other day or at least every once a week, I get someone says like, "That's great, I love this, thank you so much," and that's why you actually do it. Like that's the
Yeah.
moment when it's like, yeah, it's worth it.
Yeah,
We helped
exactly.
someone,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And that's all that's about, to help people and make sure that it's a nice experience for everybody, for us as well. I mean, it's always nice to know that you're helping someone to get to know something that you're working on. It's one of the joys of teaching that I experienced when I was teaching for a long time. But yeah, thank you so much for everything, Milan, and for walking everybody through your process and being so transparent about it too, and honestly talk about the problems as well. So that's one of the things that I always am interested in hearing about. It's not just about the success stories, but also, hey, this really was terrible and this was a lot of work and it just was not fun. But we pushed through and we did it, and the end product is just absolutely great. So really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love being transparent. Like, no one was born great, knowing all things, right? We live, we learn, right? So, um,
exactly, exactly. I
uh,
always say nothing is perfect. We're just striving to make it better, and that's
yeah,
what we're doing,
exactly.
which is great. All right, Million, thanks again, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon, I'm sure.
All right, thanks, Sarah. It was a pleasure to be with you on this
You
recording.
too. Thank you.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah. All right, have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
I hope you liked my talk with Milan. Please let us know if you have any feedback in regards to our learning and educational materials. Join me next time for other interesting topics. Until then, have a great time and happy coding.